Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and I am the president and CEO of an organization called Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org, not .com, that's a rock band, so you want millionkids.org. And we are an organization out of the Inland Empire, although we serve clear across the United States. We concentrate a lot of our actual work right here in the Inland Empire. We're an organization that combats sex trafficking, labor trafficking, sextortion, social media exploitation, which is the biggie right now, and also, of course, child pornography, which is what happens a lot of times when these kids send a nudie out there and it goes out into the World Wide Web, and the next thing you know, they're being blackmailed. So that is the work that we do. And we've been doing this now for, hard to believe, almost 15 years around the globe, but about 12 years right here in Riverside and San Bernardino County. I quit counting, but at one point we had figured out that we had trained more than 500,000 people on those subjects. Now, I'm not a crazy radical on this. I believe that trafficking, sex trafficking especially, is a crime of psychology. And in fact, I've written some books about that. One of them is called Seduced, the Grooming of America's Teenagers. I have them right here. If anybody wants to purchase that, you can purchase that at millionkids.org, and I'll sign it and send it to you. You can also purchase it at Amazon. Now, it's an older book. It's been out a while, but it has sold tens and tens and tens of thousands of copies and been involved in educating a lot of parents and grandparents about how sex trafficking works. It isn't like most people think. It's very seldom do they come along and kidnap you off the street. In fact, what happens in something like that is that they build a relationship online. And so those young people who are particularly vulnerable, kids who are maybe slow learners or have an autistic issue, or perhaps any child, as far as that goes, they can be straight A students. But if they're a little reluctant, if they're a little shy, if they're looking for somebody else to make them happy, if they're needing a lot of attention, or if they're in broken homes or from the foster system, they're particularly vulnerable. And that is why we do the work that we do. And that trying to educate teachers and law enforcement and kids about how you stay safe online. We also combat sextortion. Sextortion is, in my opinion, the greatest crime going on in the world and gets very little discussion on it. Sextortion can happen many, many ways. By the way, it happens to adults too, and adult males who go on those dating sites and forget that live streaming works both ways. And next thing you know, they're paying off some blackmail claim going on, that trying to save their dignity. So all of these things are things that we fight, and sextortion is one of them. Sextortion has truly become a pandemic after everybody went online. Sextortion is the combination of the word sex and extortion. And basically what happens, it's usually blackmail as a result of sending some sort of illicit photo. Doesn't even have to be a nude. It can just be something compromising, and they will know exactly how to go after you. And it's a huge issue. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, we call that NCMEC. That's John Walsh's company. If you remember America's Most Wanted, they take the leads around the world for people that are being, especially young people that are being sexually violated. Last year, they took 29.3 million cases, potential cases of sextortion. That is the reason why we made a movie, and we have worked together. We're the executive producer of a movie called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. The movie was actually made by some brilliant filmmakers, Stephen Peak and Maria Peak. They own Aurora's Media, and they have created a movie called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. It was featured at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. Now, we backed off a little bit this summer, and we were hoping to release it in the spring, but we have an opportunity to get that into the schools all across the U.S., working with NECMEC, and they have a contract with schools across the United States. And quite frankly, there's so much craziness going on in the schools. I think we desperately need to get that movie into the schools. Well, the movie's starting to premiere, and we are going to have two here in Southern California. One of them is already sold out, and that is the one that is at USC. I'm an instructor at 3 courses of USC, so it went very, very quickly. But I do want to alert you that there is another open to the public, and right now, this is the only one we know in Southern California that's going to be happening. So I want to give you a heads up now, so maybe you can plan. You need to go on Eventbrite and register. There is not a charge for it, but we need to be able to see how many people are going to come. This will be held at Saddleback Church down in Orange County, Saddleback Church in Orange County on September 18th. That's a Sunday afternoon from 4 to 6. And it's open to the public. We ask that kids not be much younger than, say, 12 or 13 to see this movie because we don't want to scare them. But it is a hard-hitting movie. You can see the film trailer at sextortionfilm.com, sextortionfilm.com. And if you'll follow us at millionkids.org, I'm giving you a lot of information today, sorry, but it's millionkids.org. We're going to continue to promote that, and we can send out a flyer to you and that kind of thing if you go into millionkids.org and sign up to receive more information. This film is all about a guy, it's an action film, but it's also a documentary. And it follows a case of a guy by the name of Daniel Harris. And Daniel was a really good-looking man. He was married with a couple of kids anyway, beautiful wife. He was a Top Gun pilot. And he was traveling all over the world, but while he's doing that, he is, flirting and sending nudes back and forth with 14-year-old girls all across the United States and across the world, even when he was in Japan. The case actually started out of Japan, but the victims were here in the U.S., and that's often how it happens. This man is a Top Gun pilot. He's disciplined. He's smart. He had everything going for him. But he had a bent towards pedophilia, and he began to blackmail all these girls. And so the purpose of the film is to share with parents and grandparents and teenagers basically how sextortion works and where those naked photos go when you hit send. I am absolutely convinced. I've been 6 years of my life raising the money for this. And I'm absolutely convinced that if kids understand how the internet is made, and that there are, in fact, whole groups of telemarketers out of foreign countries, Pakistan, Philippines, the Ivory Coast, all kinds of areas out there where poor people, are set up behind the computer to either hack or get your information or get you to send a photo so that they can begin to blackmail you. And they're absolutely ruthless. And so what we do here with Million Kids is we train the kids how it works, and then we try to train the parents and the grandparents how that works. We've been doing that now for the last 3 years. It's just about depleted all of our capital to get this out, and also to combat the SB 357, which many of you know, California is on the verge of legalizing street prostitution. It's going to start January 1st. The bill is in the can. So we have been really, really busy. And quite frankly, we've really put out a lot of financial resources. If any of you want to come in and support our work, there could not be a better time than right now for you to do that. While I'm on a roll, I'll just tell you, you can do that by going to millionkids.org and hit that donate button or mail a check in. But the point is, I hope that you will consider attending the Saddleback event on September 18th from 4 to 6. probably next week, we're going to have the people from Saddleback be interviewed on the show so that you can get a little more detail on it. And we're also posting it at millionkids.org. I can't think of anything that is more important than this, because kids do not understand who they're talking to. We are putting this generation of young people online all over the world, which opens the door for people all over the world to reach our kids. And I believe we have to step back and take a whole new look and return to the basics of how we talk to our kids about how this works. Because this is the first generation that will be able to reach the entire world, and the world can reach them. We're up against that break, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen up, folks. You no longer have to drive out of the IE for a great restaurant experience. The Toasted Barrel, an upscale casual steakhouse located in Corona, has been winning award after award for their great diverse menu, service, ambience, wine, and cocktails. Customers call the Barrel the perfect date night. Inland Empire Magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant 4 years in a row. Wine Spectator recognized the Toasted Barrel's wine program for their award of excellence. Toasted Barrel is famous for their certified Angus beef, prime, Wagyu, and Kobe steaks, and they have some of the best pasta and seafood around. With happy hour and daily specials every day of the week, their appetizers and drink selections are the best around. Live music starts every Friday and Saturday at 5:30. Planning a dinner party, wedding rehearsal, family gathering, or holiday party? Look up Toasted Barrel online and make your reservation today.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited, Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about an event that's going to be held at Saddleback on September 18th, Saddleback in Orange County. It's a huge church. They're going to have the mega tent out there. It'll hold several hundred people. And we really hope that you will bring your kids and your grandkids. If they're up, I don't want them there much under the age of 12, because it will talk about what happens when you send those photos online. And we don't want to traumatize the younger kids. We have other ways to train them. But I do hope that you'll consider coming to that and supporting this film. It has been a labor of love for me since 2016 is when I started raising the money, and many of you have supported this cause, and now we have it. And it probably won't be released to the public till sometime in late fall. They are in negotiations with a streamer at this point, but it is ready to go to schools, and that's why we took some time out this summer to make sure we could get that ready to get in the schools. Do you realize that 29.3 million calls is literally 80,000 calls a day? Now, they're not all telephone calls. What happens on that is that a couple of your app companies, not all your big ones, but a couple of the big ones, have been also running algorithms on their platforms each night to look for images of anyone under the age of 18 that is a sexual or illicit image. And and that is called child pornography, if you don't know that. And it is against the law for what it's worth. But they literally have come up with 29.3 million cases where our kids have either been seduced or lured or tricked or just want to advertise and put their naked photos out there. And the blackmail begins. And I'm going to tell you, these blackmailers are absolutely ruthless. They do not care if your child lives or dies. And we literally have had an epidemic of young people, gorgeous, smart, intelligent, popular young people who take their own lives, or they sneak out of the bedroom in the middle of the night or away from school and meet up with one of these guys, and they end up getting sexually violated. And so this is a serious matter. Another thing that has happened on this is that cases like the Pornhub case, if you followed this at all, a year and a half ago, MasterCharge Visa shut them down. Pornhub was the largest pornography site in the world. And suddenly they had all these categories. Their number one category was amateur pornography. And I'm thinking, who is doing this? Is this lonely housewives or, guys wanting to advertise, or is it our kids? Who's doing this? Well, they were being charged with having a lot of child porn. They had 13.5, for lack of a better number. I think that's right. 13.5 million videos of pornography. And so as the word got out, there was a lot of child pornography on there. MasterCharge Visa shut down and said, we're not going to give you the ability to take MasterCharge Visa payments on this until you get rid of all the child porn. Now, we now know they didn't do this out of the goodness of their heart. They knew major lawsuits are coming. They're now over $500 million in lawsuits, and they did not want to be enjoined with those lawsuits. Well, the court just ruled last week that they didn't get out in time. They did benefit financially, and they will be enjoined in the lawsuit. But during the course of that was on December 10th, 2020, that MasterCharge Visa said, and if you think about it, that's right in the middle of the COVID thing. MasterCharge Visa shut them down on December 10th. By December 15th, they had scrubbed all of their platforms and had removed 9.3 million videos that were child pornography. Okay. 9.3 million out of 13 million. So it's like 65-70% of their inventory was underage children. And I thought to myself, how could this possibly be? Who is sending in all these photos that is doing this? Well, one of the things before they shut it down, I happened to see one of the pages on their site, and they were putting out there to make $40,000 a week by sending in your photos. And all these young people across the United States wanted to be popular, wanted to be recognized, wanted to be famous, even if they're a porn star. And they sent things in believing they're going to make money. So this tells you how easily it is to seduce a child into sending a pornographic video or photo. And in the end, they end up getting blackmailed. And this is the reason why we made the film Sextortion, the Hidden Pandemic. We really hope every family will take the time to go see this. And I also am asking you to consider donating to Million Kids. We got the film in the can. Now we have to send the film out and get it promoted, get a lot of attention to it. And on top of it, we are serious about educating parents and grandparents, especially, about how all of this works, and then how to talk to your children. I don't know about you, but it feels like our world is upside down to me. I'm an old-fashioned kind of girl. I believe, you reap what you sow, and you are who you decide you're going to be, and that you have the ability to be anybody you want to be. But along with that, you have responsibility. You can take the high road or you can take the low road. But what we don't share with our kids is the price you're going to pay if you take the low road. Why is this so important to me, especially at Million Kids? Because our world is fast changing. And, we look at this thing and I don't know about you, but it's like every 30 seconds I hear bad news or I hear something on social media that I say to myself, that is not true. Yeah. And yet it doesn't get corrected. There's a lot of things going on in this generation of people that, as someone who is a bit older and more experienced, I look at it and I think we need to get back to the basics with our children. I all the stuff about gender equality, and I saw the one today or yesterday that is a big controversy about a book going into schools all over America, approved by the American Library Association, called Gender Queer, and it's going into the elementary schools. And when I see that, I kind of like get on my knees and say, God help me, God help the United States, God help this generation. You see, this is the most unique generation of kids that have ever lived because they are the first generation that will be connected to the entire world digitally, and the entire world is connected to them. So it's a lot different than maybe when you and I were younger. We used to get a newspaper. Our kids won't know what a newspaper is, but we used to get a newspaper. If somebody put something in print and it wasn't accurate, they got fired. If they misled you, they paid a price for it. But today, this generation will have more information provided to them than any generation before them, but they will have less truth. And they will have less ability to determine what is true and who is lying to them. Just yesterday, I was driving home from USC, where I'm an instructor, and I'm listening to the radio. And I'm not going to tell you who I was listening to, but I'm saying to myself, this is one of the most prominent people in the United States, if not and I say to myself, what a bunk. What a bunch of bunk that is. That is not accurate. And now you have government agencies trying to tell you what is going to be considered accurate based on their own bias. If I ever hear this word disinformation again, I'm saying to myself, that is political bunk. That is propaganda for some government agency to tell me what is true and not true. And I think many of us saw I have to watch myself. I don't want to get too political here, but you saw the interview with Zuckerberg this week, Jeff Zuckerberg, and he's saying, yeah, the FBI asked me to deny or not report on some things. And you say to yourself, wait a minute, whatever happened to freedom of speech? When I see things like that, I say to myself, it is time to return to the basic principles of life. And it is time for parents and grandparents to move in and take the responsibility of raising an individual to think for themselves, to have strong moral values in a world where they're going to be influenced by people they've never met and have no accountability or reason to believe that they're going to tell you the truth. We need to step back and take this seriously. This is Opal Singleton. I'll be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift, Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about getting back to the basics of things here, because we see our children on the front line in this digital world. And, I've worked in combating trafficking and sextortion for many years. And one of the things I know is that we have to get back to the basics with our children. Because as I look around, our kids are absolutely plied with connections, either through texting, through, DM, they call it, direct messaging, and they're onto all these apps. And apps are not like they used to be. Apps are, apps like TikTok. Your child makes a sexy video and it goes out there, they will easily get 1 million or 2 followers. If they have 1 million followers, what percentage of them are pedophiles? At least 1%. And I think that number's low based on the work that I do. But that's 10,000 pedophiles on one video going out to your 11-year-old child. And you tell me if they are prepared to stand against that. I sometimes joke, I'm joking here, okay? But I often say, if you're going to take a prepubescent child and put them on the World Wide Web or on a device, and trust me, they're smarter than you are, you might as well take them down to a strip club for 10 minutes and see how they hold up. Because you don't want to think about who is on the World Wide Web. But I'm going to tell you that with millions of people out there, at least 1% of them are freaks or weird or have bad intentions for your child. And you have to know if they're going to be able to have the moral fortitude, the self confidence, the belief in self, the desire to take the high road, or if they're going to succumb to being tricked online, because almost every kid will at some point. You see, part of the problem with social media is you're not able to visualize who is on the other end. You think you use the same emotions, the same hopes, the same dreams, the same fear as meeting this person down the street. But what you can't see is there are organized crime groups out there waiting to violate your child. And so this is the reason why I'm at a place where I'm saying we have to return to the basics, especially since California has passed SB 357. Starting in January, you will have street prostitution because it's now law enforcement's not allowed to intervene. That means your children are going to see that. And, if your child thinks they're really hot and sexy and they want to make some money and get attention, it will be very easy for them to see that that's a quick and easy road. So, after that bill passed, I just on a personal note will tell you that I took some time off. I went to Montana. I did. Yeah, I went to Jackson Hole and had a great time. It was good. But I'm saying to myself, all the stuff we normally do is not going to work at this point, because literally your child is absolutely lambasted all day and all night on social media with values that you and I do not respect. And with people with bad intentions, and we're not able to tell which ones are which. And if we're not able to, how's your child going to do that? And that's why what you're going to see with me and kids over the next few weeks is a real return to basics. I'm setting up an addition to our website. Many of you that have followed me and kids know that our logo, our motto is, I believe in you. I believe the 4 most powerful words on earth are, I believe in you. Think about what a pimp is selling a girl. I'm here for you, baby. I'm going to take care of you. By the way, that's a hint, mom and dad. If your child is waiting for somebody else to validate their worth, they are a sitting duck for a pimp or a pedophile sextortionist, because that's exactly what they're looking for, is some kid who wants to be a victim, who wants somebody else to make them happy, who wants to be discovered, who wants somebody else to be responsible for them. And one of the most important elements that you can teach a child is how to be responsible for themselves. So we're setting up an I Believe in You gallery. Part of this is fundraising and part of it is inspiration. When I first started with Million Kids, I was a glass artist. And I loved it, by the way. And I sold glass art everywhere, but in galleries out in Palm Springs and Pomona and different places. And then I quit when I lost my husband in around 2016, 17, and had everything in storage. But I have since remarried and I have my kilns out, and I have started back into glass. And I'm doing that as a way for me to return to the basics. You reach a point where you say, you have to do what matters. So we're setting up the I Believe in You gallery. It'll probably be up in about a week or so. It'll have a lot of inspirational things in it. It'll have some things in it that you can buy, some jewelry that'll say, I believe in you, that a lady out of Colorado is making for us. And we hope to have a challenge coin before too long. And then I'm going to be featuring some of my glass art on there. I want to do that because I think what we need to do is step back and start to look for positive inspiration in this barrage that is hitting us everywhere about all the things that are going on that to us are just unrealistic. When I read the article about the book going into elementary schools with that name on it, I thought to myself, this cannot be true. I mean, I'm a master researcher. I look at everything, and I'm not a prude. I work in child sex crimes. But the thought of having that book in all of our elementary schools for our children is, to me, telling me we've hit some sort of low in our nation that is hard to describe. So I've kind of started a whole new path, and I'm asking you to come on the journey with me, where we return to basic principles. Things like turning off the bad news, having solid conversation with our kids. I'm going to tell you that you'll see me developing this idea over the next few weeks, but this has to be intentional. This cannot be just, okay, well, I'll do it for a day or two and then quit. No, you need a strategy, and it has to be intentional. I saw a bumper sticker that really got my attention the other day. You got to fight like the third monkey going into Noah's Ark, and it's starting to rain. I love that bumper sticker because I think if there's ever a time in my life, my whole life, that it is important to return to the basics and start to focus on fighting for our kids' future, it's right now. And that's got to start at home. We can't change all of Washington, D.C. I can't. You can't. Apparently can't even impact Sacramento because we've got a bill here that I put out a lot of money trying to fight. And here we are. Now we're going to have to start to get our society ready to live in a world where law enforcement can no longer intervene in loitering for the purposes of prostitution. That's SB 357. You can look that up if you want. Senate Bill SB 357. So I'm asking you to return to the basics. I'm asking you to come on a journey with us. I hope you'll go to the I Believe in You gallery when it gets up. I'll be e-blasting, not lambasting, e-blasting that out. I hope some of you will go to Saddleback on September 18th, 4 to 6. You need to go on Eventbrite, which will be on up and available, that link, so that you can register. There is no charge. You can bring as many people as you want. I hope you bring your whole youth group. If it's a high school or junior high youth group, I hope you bring your parents. I hope you bring your grandparents. From the show I did last week, I think grandparents are one of the most important groups on the face of the earth to turn this around. You don't want to tick off a senior citizen. I have a girlfriend that said there's nothing crazier or worse than a senior citizen with a whistle and a clipboard. I like that. I think that's true. But you know what's worth fighting for, and that's our kids. And this is not going to be an easy fight. I think we need strategy. A strategy such as when we go to dinner, everybody puts their phone away and we're going to have conversation. I'm going to look you in the eye and tell you how important you are to me. And I hope I'm important to you. I'm going to tell you why you don't want to take the easy route and how much it costs when you take the low road instead of the high road. And we're going to talk about what it takes to be a leader. Not the stuff that you're hearing on TV or that you get in a video game, but the real thing about having value and self-worth, having discipline and setting goals. My name is Opal Singleton, and we are up against that break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello, and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about a return to the basics. Hey, before we go any farther, I want to tell you about a new sponsor we have. By the way, if you want to sponsor this show, we can always use another sponsor. It's not a problem at all. But I found a new restaurant that I just am absolutely in love with, and they are just the greatest kids. I just love them. They're young people that just really had a dream to build, and they are doing a tremendous job. The restaurant's called Mamma Mia's Italian food, and it is off of Magnolia, just one block north of La Sierra. And it's called Mamma Mia's. They do takeout and they do sit-down ordering. I love their caprese salad. Oh my gosh, it's the best I've ever eaten. Their balsamic glaze is just a kill for. But what I love are the people. I'm always looking for heroes, always looking for people who have done what it takes to succeed. And that's these young people. The chef and owner is Michael. And then there's Joseph, his partner, and Alex does the promotion, and Jonelle and Nicole do the serving. That if you look at them on Yelp, you'll see their Yelp rating is something like 4.95 or something. Their food is fabulous, but what I love is their attitude. They opened up just as COVID hit, and they didn't have much money anyway. That's why they're in a strip mall. And they undertook all the work themselves. They put up these beautiful tiles, and it just is a lovely, lovely environment in a strip mall, believe it or not. And more important, everybody comes out to check, including the chef. How is it? Does it work? They do a lot of takeout of pizzas and things like that. And I haven't had their pizza, but my husband has, and he said it's fabulous. But that caprese salad, oh my heck, you could die and go to heaven with that thing. But it's Mama and Mia's, and I just want to promote them. We're getting them a commercial together. But they have just been an inspiration to me. When you always wanted to open your own restaurant, and it's very difficult anyway, and you do that in the middle of COVID, and you build everything yourself, and you make sure that everything is as good as it possibly can be, those are people after my heart. Those are people with real values that want to succeed and be independent and self-sufficient by providing a good valued service at a fair price, and more important, basing it on relationship. And I just had to present that to you because I'm really, really enjoying them there. But over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking a lot more about a return to basics. We're going to set up the I Believe in You gallery. The whole idea there is that we're going to give you resources so that you can tell young people that you believe in them. We're hoping to have challenge coins. We thought that would be a great gift to give for a graduation from a grandma or a grandpa. That's a great gift to give to a husband or a wife, to let them know you believe in them. I haven't talked much about that, but I think that that's the other reason, the other point that I really want to make. And that is in your marriages. You model love and affection, forgiveness, grace, humor, dealing with stress, anxiety, fear. You model that in front of your children. And so I think that I Believe in You is one of the most important things that a husband can give a wife, or a wife can give a husband. In fact, the idea of I Believe in You started with my husband. My husband had kidney cancer. We were together 44 years, and he was an incredible individual. I was so lucky to have him as my husband. And then he got kidney cancer. And I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Joseph Lee, who was his doctor. He was an amazing, amazing man. But in the end, my husband succumbed to kidney cancer. But he told me that as he was passing, he told me that he really hoped that I would go on with making this film and getting it out, and also that I would continue the work of me and kids. And some of you have heard this story, but I came home one night and he had typed up for me a simple statement: to the smartest, most beautiful, most intelligent woman in the world, love, Del. And I thought to myself, didn't cost him much, a piece of paper. But I thought to myself, I've looked at that over the years. He's been gone 5.5 years now, and I've since remarried to an incredible individual who's very, very generous with me and supports this work. But over the years of the loss of that, I realized that what the gift he had given me, and when all was said and done, was the gift that he believed in me. And I say to myself, Grandma and Grandpa, if there's anything you can give your child, it is the belief that you believe in them, that you're proud of them, that they're going to take the high road. They're going to set high standards and meet them. That they are going to be people that want the truth and want to abide by the rules and do things that will make their life better and make the world a better place. And I believe, as we take a look at what is happening right now all around us, one of the problems with social media is that we're all on it 24/7. So we are getting input from people we don't know, from Adam. And it's almost 24/7. It's something like 83 or 87% of kids sleep with their phone. If that's going on at your house, mom and dad, I'd recommend that you take that phone and put it in a lockbox somewhere overnight, each night, and then return it. Because we need private time. We need time to know who we are. And one of the challenges in dealing with this generation, and by the way, I'm no better than you are about all of this. You do it too, mom and dad. I see people out to dinner and they all got their phones out. Well, that's not all bad. I mean, we look at Facebook and I look at art ideas and I see other people's glass and I go, what if we tried that? There are positive aspects to it. But I also think that we need time to make home space, family space, me space, time to figure out what you feel and to feel between each other. You know, there's nothing more powerful than looking at another human being and looking in their eyes and experiencing whatever it is they're experiencing and sharing that kind of intimacy. You do not get that on TikTok. You do not get that on Facebook. Now, there's room for those things, but not at the expense of returning to the basics of embracing each other, finding the good in each other, and sharing that intimacy. You see, I honestly believe that most of these kids that are out there on all of these sites, these dating sites, are looking for intimacy. They want to be close to somebody who admires them. And that's a natural feeling. Don't we all want that? However, when push comes to shove, it really is going to come down to whether or not parents and grandparents and kids develop a strategy to build character on their own, a plan for building leadership, for determining truth, determining what is right. And that's really where Million Kids is going to be over the next few weeks. And I would ask you to come along that journey with us. When we get it up, it should be hopefully by the middle of next week. We'll have the I Believe in You gallery at millionkids.org. If any of you want to support our work financially, I can't tell you how much it would mean to me. We really fought the good fight on SB 357. We've been 6 years getting this film out. I hope you will peg the date of September 18th from 4 to 6 at Saddleback. To my knowledge, right now, those are the only two premieres, the one at USC, which is already sold out, and the one at Saddleback on 9/18 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a Sunday afternoon. I hope that you will put that on there. Any of you that want to write to me, I get contacted by listeners regularly, and I can't tell you how much it means to me. You know, I just do what I believe is right. And I appreciate your feedback. You can write to me at Opal, O-P-A-L, at millionkids.org. Well, folks, I hope that you'll take this week and give this some thought. Come on a journey with us. It won't be a perfect journey, but we have, as we said, we have to fight for our kids. I love this thing about that we have to fight like the third monkey getting on the ark, you know, when it's starting to rain. We are at the most unique time in all of history, and this is going to take parenting and grandparenting skills that have never, ever been considered before. This is going to take a strategy and a commitment to keeping your kids safe from predators, but also making them leaders for the next generation. Folks, I hope you have a really special week. Take the time this week to look at your kids and give them a big hug. Look at your spouse and put your arms around them all and let them know how proud you are of them. And I'll see you next Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses. and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.